All right, so what you should have already done is do the warm-up. The answers to the warm-up, if you have done them already, were on number 1. 0 and -2, when you plug both of those answers into the original equation, they both work. So Andrea was correct in number 1. Neither of those are extraneous solutions. In number 2, if you plug in 9 as the x value, as Andrea says, the solution is 9. You plug 9 in to the solution, you get +3 or -3. You could argue either way here. Andrea could be right, Andrea could be wrong. But originally, the square root of 9 is 3, and 3 is not equal to -3, so there is no solution. So in this case, Carlos would be correct. In general, these 2 warm-up questions should have gotten you to think about what you should always do. What should you always do with your solutions from now on because of the possibility? Well, you need to go back, you need to test them out. And if you don't, you might be saying that there are solutions when there aren't. So let's take this practice equation. We're going to shift gears a little bit. On Friday, we talked about solving radicals, and we're going to continue, but we're going to get a little more difficult today. So diving in number 1, we're going to solve this equation, 6 equals x plus the square root of x. Now, we already know from Friday that we have to have the square root sign by itself in order to solve. So if I wanted to solve this, I first need to have the square root alone, so I need to isolate that, and I'm going to move over the x. So now I should get the square root of x equals 6 minus x. Okay, I'm going to take this into another sheet of paper here so that you guys can see what I'm doing, but we're on diving in number 1. So now we have, so here was the original, 6 equals x plus the square root of x. I subtract x to the other side. 6 minus x can't be combined. They're not like terms. We've got this. Now I'm going to have to square this side to get rid of the square root. I get x, and now here we have a binomial times itself, which means we might have to do an area map. So if we do an area map on the side here, and we multiply 6 minus x times 6 minus x, it's 36, -6x, -6x, positive x squared. Your answer should be x squared minus 12x plus 36. So now you've got x squared minus 12x plus 36 equals x. Well, this is a quadratic, but it's not equal to 0 yet. So I need to now move this x over here so that it's all together. So I'm going to minus it or subtract it. That's -13x plus 36 equals 0. Now I can factor, I can use the zero product property, or I could try to use the quadratic equation. If I want to factor this, 36, -13, 36 is 36 and 1, 2 and 15 and 18, 9 and 4, 9 and 4 will work. So I can factor this as x minus 9, x minus 4 equals 0. I can use the zero product property, but because they're very simple binomials, I know that this means that x is 9, and this means that x is 4. Now again, it says solve the equation. I have these 2 solutions, but I have to check. I have to use these 2 and go back to my original equation, 6 equals x plus the square root of x, and plug in 9 and 4 to see if they work. So I go back to my original. This was my original. 6 equals x plus the square root of x. Well, if x is 9, I would plug that in. 6 equals 9. Square root of 9 is 3. 6 equals 12. Well, that's not true. So 9 is extraneous. We're going to reject 9. Now we're going to do the same thing using our other solution of 4. Space here. 6 equals x plus the square root of x. I'm going to plug in 4. 6 equals 4 plus the square root of 4. 6 equals 4 plus 2. 6 equals 6. Yes. So my actual only solution is x equals 4 for number 1, diving in. I'm going to do the same thing for diving in number 2. Diving in number 2 says solve the square root of 2x plus 15 equals x plus 6. I see already that the square root is all by itself on one side, so to cancel it out, I can square it, and I have to square the other side. These two things cancel. 2x plus 15 equals x plus 6 squared. Again, I'm going to have to do an area map. When I do an area map, I'm going to skip that step. I should get to x squared plus 12x plus 36. And again, I need to make sure that all of this is equal to 0, so I'm going to subtract 2x. I'm going to subtract 15. This will cancel. X squared. 10 or 12x take away 2 is 10x. 36 take away 15 is 21. And then I'm going to factor again. When I factor, I try to factor this. You do your ACV chart. You get x plus 3, x plus 7, which means my two solutions are x equals -3, x equals -7. And now, again, I have to check and make sure that neither of them are extraneous. I go back to my original. 2x plus 15 equals x plus 6. My two answers were -3 and -7, so I'm going to test it. -3. This is 3. This is -6 plus 15. -6 plus 15 is 9. Square root of 9 is 3. So when I plugged in -3, it worked. I'm going to do the same thing for -7. 2x plus 15 equals x plus 6. Plug in -7. 2 times -7 plus 15 equals -7 plus 6. This is -1. This is -14 plus 15. This is 1, -1. Well, the square root of 1 is not -1, so I reject -7. So my answer here is x equals -3. For the rest of this diving in and practice, you're going to do this on your own. And then I'll have the key for you when I get back on Tuesday. 1, 2, 3, and 4 are due. And then I would love for you to try number 5 using an area map. Great. See you tomorrow.